Stop listening to the generic advice that tells you to blindly save 20% of your paycheck. If you have been told that a flat percentage is the golden ticket to financial freedom, you have been lied to. That one-size-fits-all rule fails most people because it ignores the reality of your life, your debt, and your specific income level. By the end of this video, you will have a clear, personalized framework to know your exact number, even if you feel like you are struggling to make ends meet right now. We are going to break the cycle of confusion and give you a roadmap that actually fits your bank account. The reason most personal finance advice feels impossible to follow is that it is often written for people who already have their lives perfectly figured out. When you see an influencer telling you to invest half your income while you are staring at a massive rent increase or a pile of student loans, it creates a toxic cycle of guilt and shame. You feel like you are failing because you cannot hit an arbitrary number that someone made up in a vacuum. Most online rules ignore the reality of family pressure, rising costs of living, and the psychological weight of debt. This video is the solution to that confusion. We are moving away from rigid percentages and toward a system that adapts to your actual life, because a plan you can't stick to is worse than no plan at all. To get your finances under control, you need to view your paycheck through 3 distinct buckets. This core framework simplifies everything. The first bucket is survival, which covers your absolute essential expenses. The second is safety, which is your protection against the unexpected. The third is growth, which is where you actually build wealth through investing. The biggest mistake people make is trying to optimize all 3 at the same time, or worse, mixing them up. Your money must flow through these buckets in a specific order. If you try to fill the growth bucket before the safety bucket is ready, you are building a house on sand. If you over-prioritize survival without a plan for growth, you will be working forever. Understanding how much of your paycheck you should actually save starts with identifying which bucket needs your attention right now. Step 1 is survival. This is the foundation, and it is the part most people are ashamed of, but they shouldn't be. Survival money includes your rent or mortgage, groceries, utilities, and minimum debt payments. If these costs take up a large portion of your check, you are not bad with money, you are simply in the foundation building phase. The danger here is trying to save or invest aggressively while you are under extreme financial stress. If you force yourself to save 20% when you can barely afford groceries, you will eventually burn out, raid your savings, and feel like a failure. For most people, survival expenses should ideally sit between 50 and 70% of take-home pay, but if yours is higher, the goal is stabilization, not perfection. You have to keep enough of your paycheck to stay sane and secure before you can worry about the stock market. Once survival is stable, we move to step 2, safety money. This is where we define what savings actually means. A common misconception is that saving and investing are the same thing. They are not. Savings is money that stays liquid and accessible. Its job is not to make you rich. Its job is to keep you from becoming poor when life happens. Safety money is your emergency fund, your car repair fund, and your "oops, I lost my job" fund. If you skip this step and jump straight into growth, every minor inconvenience becomes a financial crisis that forces you to sell your investments at the wrong time. Safety money belongs in a high-yield account where it is protected from market swings. If you don't have this buffer, investing will always feel scary because you are playing without a net. Step 3 is growth money. This is the most exciting part because this is where your money starts working for you. Investing is not gambling. It is delayed gratification. It is the process of taking a portion of today's paycheck and sending it into the future to buy your freedom. Many people wait until they have a significant amount of money to start, but that is a massive mistake. Consistency matters far more than your starting amount. Whether it is $5 or $500, the act of allocating growth money builds the muscle of wealth creation. This is where you utilize compound interest to ensure that one day you won't have to trade your time for a paycheck. You start this step the moment your safety bucket has even a small cushion. The real answer to how much you should save is found in the sliding scale rule. Fixed percentages are a myth because 5% for someone earning $30,000 feels much heavier than 20% for someone earning $200,000. On the sliding scale, your percentage should shift as your income grows. If you are in a low income bracket, saving even 3 to 5% is a massive win. As your income increases, you don't just buy a nicer car, you slide your percentage up. This is how you avoid lifestyle creep. By using a sliding scale, you give yourself permission to start small while maintaining the ambition to scale up as you progress in your career. This makes the math of personal finance feel like insider knowledge rather than a restrictive diet. Let's look at some real-world scenarios to see how this looks in practice. Imagine a young professional in a high-cost city. Their survival bucket might take up 80% of their pay. In this case, their smart move is to put 3% into safety and 2% into growth. It's small, but it's a start. Now consider a middle-income family with a stable mortgage. They might have survival at 60%, allowing them to put 10% into safety and 15% into growth. Finally, look at a high earner. If they keep their survival at 40%, they can aggressively push 40% into growth, fast-tracking their retirement. The mistake at every level is the same. The low earner gives up because they can't hit 20%, and the high earner spends everything because they think they have plenty of time. Your percentage must be a reflection of your current reality, not a benchmark from a textbook. The biggest mistake people make in this journey is either saving too much and hating their life, or investing too early and panicking. There is such a thing as over-saving, where you strip all the joy out of your present self to fund a future self that might be too tired to enjoy it. On the flip side, investing your rent money into a volatile asset because of FOMO is a recipe for disaster. Financial burnout is real. If your personal finance strategy makes you miserable every single day, you will eventually quit. The goal is to find the sweet spot where you are uncomfortable enough to grow, but stable enough to sleep at night. If you feel a constant sense of dread when you look at your bank account, your buckets are out of balance. The simple rule you can use starting this month is the +1 strategy. Don't worry about the perfect end goal percentage yet. Look at what you saved and invested last month. If it was 0, aim for 1% this month. If it was 5%, aim for 6. This logic allows you to adjust every time your income changes or a bill disappears. Starting imperfectly today is infinitely better than waiting for the perfect time to start a complex plan. Personal finance is 90% behavior and 10% math. When you prove to yourself that you can manage a small percentage, the larger numbers become much less intimidating. Imagine the version of your life where money is no longer a source of constant background noise in your brain. When you know exactly where your paycheck is going, the stress of the unknown disappears. Saving and investing isn't about restriction, it is an act of self-respect. It is telling your future self that you care about their peace of mind. As you move through your 20s, 30s, and beyond, these buckets will shift, but the framework remains the same. You are building a fortress, one brick at a time, and every dollar you allocate to safety or growth is a soldier fighting for your freedom. If you are ready to take the next step and figure out exactly what to invest in once you have these buckets filled, or how to build wealth on an average salary, make sure to stay tuned for our next deep dive. Taking control of your paycheck is the first step toward a life of choice rather than a life of necessity. Start with your 1% today and watch how quickly the momentum changes your entire financial future.